to Unit 2 of Blueprint Reading. What we're going to go over in this video is the dimension systems that they use in Blueprint Reading. There are four main systems that are used. The four that are used is fractional, dimensional, combo, which uses both fractional, dimensional, or might use dimensional and metric. And then the last one is metric. The biggest thing to kind of know is that when you're using like your dimensions, your dimension lines, stuff like that that you learned in Unit 1, is that you will have something that goes across like that, and it will have a number in the middle. Now, it could be that, half an inch. It could be the equivalent, which is 0.500, or half an inch, once again. The next is that you could have a mix of the two, or you could have a, say, metric size and your decimal size. So if we kind of erase this, say we're going with a metric system of 40, like 40 millimeters or something like that. Well, your equivalent would be about, it's about 1.57. So that way, if you know metric, you have that, and if you know imperial, you have 1.57. That way you can read it, and most people can read each side. So the first thing is how do you read them and how you can work them together. So if you look at your common tape measure, or if you look at a ruler or something like that, typically, you go like this, you come across, we have 1 inch, 0 inches to 1 inch. And these are marked with your two largest lines. In your middle, which will be the next biggest line, this will be your halfway mark. After that, you go to your next marks. I'm just going to make this a little longer. So these are your quarter marks. You get your 0, half, 1, 0. This goes to 1/4, half, 3/4. Another one for quarter. If it's 0.5, we go half of that. 0.250. 1/4, half to 3/4. 3/4 is 1/2 plus 1/4. So 0.750. Your next ones after that are going to be an eighth. So they'll come right in between. And an eighth is a half of a quarter. So 1/8, 4, 1, 2, 5. So 0, 1/8, 1/4. Then we go to 3/8. 3/8 is just 1/8 and 1/4 added together. So 0.325. You go 3/8 to half, we get to 5/8. 5/8, 0.5 plus 1/8. So 0.5 plus 0.124, 0.625. 5/8, 3/4. Now we're down to 7/8. Much like before, what is 7/8? 7/8 is just 3/4 plus 1/8. 0.75 plus 0.125. then you go from 0.75 or 7/8, and then you go to 1 inch. Another way to write 1 inch, if you're wondering, just 0.000. In most cases, if you've ever done something with decimals, and the reason why I'm writing them out with 3 spaces, is that most decimal systems will use the 3 systems. They will use 3 spaces. And that's just to get stuff a little bit closer, and the closer you can get something to being the right measurement, the better. So the next thing after that, we have 1/8. Well, what's half of 1/8? Half of 1/8 is 1/16. So the next thing is when you go to 1/16, you need to figure out what its decimal space is. 1/16 is half of 0.125, and it is true number 0.0625. And you notice that I went to 4 decimal places instead of 3. If you were to round this, it would become 0.062. So if you're for this, if you're at 5, you round down. If you're 6 or higher, you round up. But let's just keep it like that. So next, 1/16, 0.0625. 1/8, go to our next one. 3/16. What is 3/16? 3/16 is simply 1/8 plus 1/16. Double check myself yet. 0.1875. So the next one, we go up, and we're at 1/4. We come down to our next one. I'm going to write it down here a little bit, which is 5/16. 5/16, just do 1/4, add 1/16. Go to 3/8. Next one, got 7/16. Half, go to our next, 9/16. 5/8, 11/16. 3/4, go to our next, 13/16. 7/8, go to our next one, 15/16. And we add another 16th to it, we get our 1 inch. Then we go to our next one now. There are 2 more that typically are on your, either on a tape measure or on a ruler. Most of them do either 16ths, 32nds, or 64ths. So those are the 3 fractional scales that you need to really know. Your 16ths, 32nds, your 64ths. If I got 16 right here, where would my next lines go? My next lines go in between each one of these. These are my 32nd marks. If I were to draw this out, I got 0, 1/32, 1/16. Another way to think of 1/16 is 2/32. So if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is 1/4, but it's also 8 3/32. You could also look at it as 4/16, 2/8, finally back down to 1/4. If you look, we got 30 seconds all the way across. What is 1/32? If I write down here, 1/32 decimal is half of 1/16. So we got 0.0312. Next one after that. Do it in a different color. Our next one is 1/64. 1/64. You might not be able to see this that well. Halfway in between each 32nd. Each mark like that. That would be the 64s. I go with 1/64 from way down here. And I go for my decimal number. Well, if I look over at this one, I need to know what half of it is. So if we're just going with about 4 decimal places, yeah, 0.0156. If I went to round that up, it'd be 0.016. 6 allows it to round up. So these are very important to know. If I was going to go across again, 1/64, go all the way over here, come to this last one. This last one is 63/64. So that is where you need to know and make sure that all of your decimals are correct. If you're working with a 64th, know your numbers. If you go to page 25 of your book, you'll actually see a 4-place, 3-place, 2-place, and a millimeters breakdown of what each fraction means. So, let me erase this real quick for you. Let me give you an example. So, let's take a random 64th number. So let's say 17/64. So, that is our fraction number. So the next thing is that we're going to look at our 4-place decimal number. So 4-place decimal. I guess I could do DEC. It's a better way to explain that. DEC decimal. So, we go over, we find 17/64, we go over 1, and we look at it. It says 0.2656. So 2, 656. So that's our 4-place. So what is our 3-place then? Just in case that we're going through it and we're looking over. If we look over, we go to round it. So this is our 3-place. Remember, if it's 6 or higher, you round up. 0.266. The next one is your 2-place. So for your 2-place, we do the same thing. If we're going to round up, You go from 266 0.27. The next thing is your millimeters. So this is your metric system coming in. So if you look on your chart, we go 1764, come over, and we find 6.747. If you remember in the very beginning when I told you things that you might need are tabs. As we're going through this, I'm going to fill out tabs, and you see I got them right here. I have a tab on this page, so there's a quick reference. Trying to remember everything can be overwhelming. I've done this for over 10 years, and even then, I don't remember all of them. Sometimes I have to pull out a calculator and divide what this means in decimal to try to figure out what it means. Sometimes I have to pull out a pen and paper and go through it and figure out which one this is closest to. Sometimes I have to look it up. I have worked with blueprints that have come from Canada, and in Canada they do use the metric system, and sometimes they do it in French. So sometimes not knowing, it's okay. All you have to do is know how to look it up. So that's the big thing. Have that page on hand. It will help you. Another way to do metric, if you're trying to convert something over, is by multiplying it. So let's say you just need to define an answer is whatever inch you have times 0.03 937, and that will give you millimeters. That's another way you can do it. If you want to write that down somewhere or keep it quick, it's like instead of going through the chart and trying to find it, you can be like, hey, I need 1764. I know what it is in decimal. Take it, times it, go millimeters. So that is another way of doing it. So study that. Go through your book. You will see the different little questionnaires in there, asking what your scale readings. Look at them, work on them, and I will see you for the next video.